Hello and welcome back to the channel, Cali Legends Media. Okay, so I had already done a video for today. Nevertheless, a situation came up right now that made me think, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make a video about this. Okay. Uh, so, graffiti throughout East Los Angeles, throughout most gang-infested areas is prevalent. Everybody's going around writing on the walls, if not in their neighborhood, in other people's neighborhoods. Now, in my barrio, it's a little different because we don't encourage the homeboys to be writing on the walls in our neighborhood. Why? Because it pisses off the neighbors, okay? Defacing their property angers them. And they work hard to make their in front of their house look good, and then homeboys come along and put the barrio on their pad, and they feel some sort of way to where we start having them feel animosity towards the guys in the neighborhood, right? And that's not a good thing ever. We try to be cool with the people in our neighborhood. You know, we try to have a good relationship with them whenever we can, unless for some reason things get funky and we just can't deal with the individual, you know, for whatever reason, you know. But for the most part, we try to keep everything cool with the neighbors. This is our neighborhood. We want it to look nice. This is where we live. There's all kinds of reasons why we don't want to deface our neighborhood, our own neighborhood, you know? So when other barrios once in a while come through and tag something on the wall or something, we know already what's going to happen, okay? If it's there for a couple of days, man, I just can't get a break. The paleta men been kind of like chilling, you know. They've been staying out of the way, but these guys, they're on the grind. Anyways, that's my bad for doing videos in the street. But let's continue here. So we all know what's going to happen to any graffiti that's written in our neighborhood. These people that work for the city or whoever they work for the county are going to come by and basically cover whatever's written. And that includes whatever the homeboys write. You know, the homeboys take the time to go and cross it out. It's going to get covered. Sometimes the next day it gets covered. You know, we see it all the time. And you know, we can't stop the homeboys from crossing it out. They want to do it, hey. You know, it's their neighborhood. In their minds, they're going to go and do what they're going to do. And, you know, there's never any DPs or anything given to homeboys for doing that, you know. It's a long time standing activity between neighborhoods. You know, neighborhood crosses into your neighborhood, you cross it out, and a lot of times that makes the homies go to their neighborhood and plaquear in their neighborhood, you know. Either way, it just makes our area look like crap, you know. And like I said, sometimes it's ridiculous taking the time to go and write something, and sometimes before you even get a chance to get to it, the city or the county comes by and does their paint jobs, you know. And that's why you see a lot of neighborhoods without graffiti. It's because they're on top of it, you know. They really are. I could do a video showing a neighborhood full of graffiti, and the next day go and there'll be no graffiti there, you know. So a graffiti doesn't indicate how active a barrio is. I remember I I did one of my videos where I drive through the neighborhood and talk about the area and stuff. And I remember hearing in the comment section, "Oh man, that barrio was really active, man. There was writing everywhere." No, that's not what being active is all about in the gang world. That's just people, kids going around writing on walls. Anyways, this is my point to this video. A little while ago, I was driving and I seen something happening. You know, I wasn't sure what it was. The first thing that came to my mind was that the people that lived there in that house in that area probably were having some type of conflict and they were getting busy, right? But nevertheless, I drove over there just to see if any homeboys were involved or you know, pretty much I was just being metiche, you know what I mean? Drove over there and checked it out. And what it ended up being was the little homies going to work on this dude, right? And I looked around and I saw right away what it was behind, you know? There was writing on the wall. Excuse me. And just to make a long story short, it was behind that, you know. And after a while, I just got off the car and I went over there and I got the homie's attention and stuff, and I asked him, "Hey homie, ya estuvo, you know, just let this vato jam." Nah, que fuck this vato, and he's from this and that and blah blah blah. Yeah, but you know what, ya estuvo, homie. As a matter of fact, probably the hooters are gonna come right now, and we don't want to lose none of you guys to the system, man. Why don't you guys go into, hey, get the fuck out of here, and kick rocks. I was telling the other kid, right? And for the most part, he looked happy to see me, you know. He was catching the blues. And what do you expect, you know? I don't know what was in his mind for him to think he's gonna come by himself. And maybe he's been doing it for a long time and he just never got caught. But he got caught today, you know, and he took an ass whipping. But that could have turned into something more than that, you know? It was pretty much midday and a lot of people came out to see. But if it would have been at night and not so many people, man, something bad could have happened to this kid, you know? And it'd be a shame, man, to lose a life over some dumb shit like that. You know what I mean? But I strongly believe nothing I say or do is gonna stop these kids from doing their little thing and writing and thinking that, I don't know why they do it, if they're trying to impress their older homies or they feel like they're doing some type of gang activity, which they are, by writing, which don't count for nothing, but still, that might be their way, you know, of representing, because this guy was a little mocoso, you know what I mean? Anyways, I wish I could get this video in front of somebody who has that mania to go around writing and stuff, especially those around this area where I'm at, where I live. And man, you know what? It's not worth it. That's not the way to lose anything, not to get your ass kicked or to lose your life over doing something like that. And it could happen, and it does happen to people, you know. We've seen it happen in the past. And I don't know, I think it's senseless. You know, on one hand, I'm glad that I drove up and I said and got off the car and did what I did. And on the other hand, I feel a little bit of guilt for doing that. You know what I mean? for getting involved, for because that's their pedo. But still, um, I'm thinking, man, you know what? If one of them pulls out a fierro or something and end up booking this fool, they might end up in prison. You know what I mean? And there we go. We have more homies uh, doing this outrageous amount of time over what? Over some spray paint being put on the walls. This kid was fortunate, and I think too, my little homies were fortunate. Because if things would have got any more out of hand and went any further, it could have ended bad for everybody. There's nothing I could do to stop this kind of activity in my neighborhood. Uh, I wouldn't even speak against it with my homies or anything. Because they wouldn't listen anyways. You know what I mean? If they do that, somebody comes in and does it, they're gonna retaliate. It's just the way things are. But anybody that sees this video, man, if you got that mania going around riding in people's neighborhoods and crossing people out and doing all that dumb shit, uh, think about it, man. Think about what you're risking. Not just going to jail, maybe losing your life if you get caught. And that's not being down. That's not being feed, man. That's not being crazy. That's being stupid. You know. Anyways, this is my video for today, and like I always say when I do these types of videos, a lot of people they don't want to hear it. They're not gonna watch it, but I hope that this video reaches whoever it needs to reach, man, and I hope it opens up your mind and opens up your eyes, man, to how stupid that activity is, and how you just risking everything for some dumb shit. You know what I mean? Anyways, thank you for watching, people. As I always like I always say, man, stay free, and let's make the right decisions in life, and let's be a good example to the youngsters. And if you got youngsters around you, whether they be family or they be just kids, neighbors and stuff, man, give them some clecha, man. Let them know what time it is, and maybe set them on the right track. Get some education, some training, some schooling, get a career. Talk to them about buying homes and investments and stuff that they're probably not being taught at home, and definitely not in the schools. But anyways, thank you for watching. God bless you. God bless your family, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you very much.